Okay, hello everyone. Sort of an ongoing theme that I've had the last like 4 or 5, 6 videos now. It's about the progression on this voyage through my neurodiversity. Um, I Yesterday I did a video referencing a video by Lily Alive. I think I put a reference to it on that video, but it was she was talking about her history and that she was in um, a very oppressive situation as a child where she trying to think of suppressed her the expression of her autism, her stimming, um, what she couldn't suppress, she withdrew into herself and basically did nothing. Didn't speak, didn't act. She was the wallflower at home. And she had to relearn once she got out on her own. She had to revisit or re-examine those traits and let them express themselves through her again. And this is a gut feeling I had early on when exploring my own autism. The clue to me was the how I have held a really high level of anxiety, which I guess is normal in autism, um, or common. Uh, and what else do I say? So what I want to do is find ways to let my autistic traits express themselves again. Okay, and I wrote this down just to remind me of what I was thinking about at the time. I don't know how much we get out of here, but I said we abandon our autistic self by suppressing the thoughts and feelings expressed by our autism. We covered them over by masking them with our best interpretations of how we should act by the standards set by our circumstances. So whether it was family, whether it was school, whether it was out in public, we did our best to interpret what we were supposed to do, and that's the mask we used. Now, to find our autistic self, we must stop suppressing our autistic thoughts and feelings. Um, that's the hard part, because you don't know what those thoughts and feelings are, and you're not even sure how you're blocking them sometimes. I said, okay, because under the masking, those autistic traits and tendencies still exist. Some dormant and atrophied. Those are the ones that you need to like resuscitate. Stimming was one of those for me. I always use that as an example a lot, but some are fragmented to the point that they cannot be recognized. Raptor hands. I use that, the fact that I will do this, that I pull back or pull up close. At least I'm calling that a version of raptor hands. And fragment to the point you don't recognize them. I mean, I didn't know what echologia was. Thank you again, Lily Alive. But that's constant in me, constant. So I said the key to becoming true to our nature is to let our true nature express itself freely, to allow ourselves to feel our emotions and what our bodies feel, to let our bodies behave according to our autistic impulses and not the artificial habits we've developed to suppress them, to be true to our autistic self. Okay. Actually, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I'm actually put this at the base, or put this somewhere on when I post this up. What this means to me, what this meant to me when I wrote this, And I'm specifically talking about stimming now because and I've noticed this too. I'm trying to break a habit. This is the habit, sitting here, sitting here and accepting this level of stress of just it's like and when I can do this and it's I mean it's just I can't believe that I don't do it naturally. That I sit there. I tell you, part of it's when I concentrate. Sometimes when it all depends. It comes and goes, um, but when I just sit here and it's just it's like it's like a drug. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like a drug, but I mean it's like it's instant. It's instant. It's just sort of a comfort, a peace, a relaxation. Sometimes I yawn. Sometimes it's just like it feels so good. But I don't do it naturally. So, and I was this is what I was thinking about when I wrote this. I said the key to becoming our true nature is to let our true nature express itself freely. Well, you see, I've built up for all these years. I have built. I think when we suppress our autistic feelings, I mean, just like if my body was naturally trying to rock, or the stems that I was doing with my hands, or the touching, or I don't ever remember flapping. I don't remember flapping, but that is another whole level of you know. I get goosebumps when I stem sometimes. I mean, it's just like this. It's people think I'm crazy if you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, trying to find a way to be true to my autistic self. What I'm coming to the conclusion. What I really want to try to do is um, is take a period of time and basically consciously keep the awareness of how I feel. What is that? I guess really the awareness on the stress. You know, and so that when I recognize that stress, I kind of go, okay, how am I going to relieve that stress? And I think it will become natural that I rock or that I do some sort of a stem. Um, so that's an interesting part of this journey. It really is, and it opens up a question to me, and that is uh, where does this lead? Um, I have another theory here. So what am I in? I'm 8 minutes. I have another theory, or at least a question um, that I will keep asking as all this develops. And that is it possible? You see, I never thought if you would have asked me, of course, at the beginning of all this, do I have any sensory issues? And I would have said no. That's definitely not something that's on my radar. But I'd be sitting there at work, and it then became apparent. I remember I was doing something. I work maintenance, and this is weird, I know, but I was taking this wrapping off of a refrigerator. It's like a protective coating, a thin plastic, like a cellophane, but stickier. And it was a booger to get off. And I was like, working on the edges and finally got to where I could start pulling it. And when I pulled it, it released and popped. I mean, it was like this, a snap pop. And I just remember going, geez, and I actually, the woman that was there, I said, was that loud? Did that, I mean, I was like, it was like a gunshot. It wasn't that loud. Well, it just, my awareness I started becoming more aware of things like that. And I was there in my office, and we've got a couple large hot water heaters, and one of them has some calcium buildup in the bottom, and it tends to pop once in a while when it, or boil. I mean, you can, the heat gets in the calcium, then you get like a pop of steam anyway. And it's not a loud pop, but it's sort of just the regular, there was no disturbance in the norm of the noises in the room, and all of a sudden that popped. And bang, like a gunshot again, just like I could feel it from head to toe, just like somebody hits your funny bone, or just like this sensory, everything went off, you know, or neurologically like that. And so I started just really paying attention to that more. Well, off that tangent. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is I'm going, okay, is it possible now if I raise my awareness of stress and pay attention to it and then lower the stress, but my awareness is raised of what I'm feeling physically and emotionally, do I run put out the risk, will I then become more sensitive sensory-wise? Will more sounds bother me? Already I notice that, well, it's been all my life really, and I never made this connection, but I'm wondering now, and that is driving is sun, you know, and just in general. And I do know that I talked to the optometrist, and they did an eye scan. He said, yeah, this one area here, that's a cataract. It's like, oh, which is normal after, I forget what age, but everybody's going to get them, all right? I don't have any, I mean, it's not to the point where I notice it, but I think I do have a little bit more trouble in darker situations, which if anything would mean that I would be naturally less sensitive to light, but still it really bothers me. It's not a refracting, it's not like snow in your windshield or rain in your windshield, you can't see through it. Anyway, I'm going off on these 12 minutes already. So anyway, all I guess I'm saying is that this would be an interesting question once it unfolds, to see if I actually become neurologically more sensitive and start developing some of the problems that are typical with a lot of people that have sensory overload problems. And then I don't see that happening because I don't know. I don't know. It's the big question. Anyway, that's part of my journey today and sharing with you. So thank you, and we'll talk with you later.